I've been setting myself a challenge every month, and for the month of June, my challenge was to read the Koran. I will consider myself a Christian, but there are times in which I doubt my faith, and I think that by exploring other religions, exploring other faiths, it would help me understand my own faith better. I chose Islam because it's one of the three biggest monotheistic religions besides Christianity and Judaism. I feel like I have an understanding of Judaism because the Bible includes the Old Testament. But Islam is not something that I had a lot of knowledge about. I've heard of the Prophet Muhammad, I know about the pilgrimage to Mecca, I know about Ramadan, but that's about it. And those are all things that I've heard in the media or from classmates that observe those holidays. I wanted to learn directly from the primary source, which is why I decided to read the Quran. I have to admit that there was a bit of a hesitancy and a little bit of fear going into this. There are two main reasons for this fear. The first is that it could challenge everything that I was taught and told to believe growing up. I almost felt like a little kid that knew that she was going to do something wrong and get punished for it. And I wasn't sure why I had that fear. I had to really reflect on it. I think it has to do with stepping outside of something that I've known all my life and going outside this bubble that I've been living in. Now I think that that fear is all the more reason to go for it and to do it, because if what I learned reveals to me that my original beliefs and what I was taught were not true, then I want to know that. If what I learned is not true, then it may actually help me deepen my own faith. The second reason why I was a bit hesitant was because of cancel culture. I wanted to document my journey because I want to have something to refer back on later in life. I wanted to have a record of this experience for my future self and for anyone who may be interested in this. I was afraid that if my interpretations were not correct, or maybe if I say something that might ruffle some feathers, I would get the internet screaming at me. But I don't want cancel culture to have power over me, so I went ahead and did it. Here are some observations I came up with after reading the Quran for about a month now. My initial observation was that the Quran is a lot friendlier looking than the Bible. It is a lot shorter. In the version that I had, there were a little over 400 pages, and I finished about 250 pages maybe. So I finished more than half of the Quran in 26 days. If I read a few more pages each day, I definitely could have finished the entire book. But I did want to take it slow because it was something new and I wanted to be able to read it and really take in everything that I read. The Bible is a lot more daunting. There are so many more pages. The text is super small and it's really, really long. That's my initial observation reading the Quran. That's more of a superficial observation, I would say. On a more deeper level, I would say that the Bible is a lot more detailed compared to the Quran. For instance, there are many passages that talk about lineage, as in this person was the father of this person was the father of that person. Another example would be in building Noah's Ark. There were specific dimensions as to how the ark was to be built. The Bible is also more detailed in terms of the places that it mentions. Some parts of the Bible, I can't really think of the specific ones, but this person will go from this city to that city, and this city will be to the east of this city or to the west or north or south. So there are a lot more mentions of cities and where they are relative to each other. I also find that stories are a lot more specific. The accounts of Noah, of Abraham, there are a lot more details to stories in the Bible as compared to the Quran. There are some stories in the Quran that are lengthier and have more details, but I would say that overall, the Bible is a lot more specific and a lot more detailed. I also find the Bible to be more poetic. I don't know if it's because of translation. I know that things can get lost in translation. I know that there are words that don't exist in English that might have existed in older languages, but I find the Bible to be a lot more poetic. Some parts that I can think of are the Beatitudes and in the book of Ecclesiastes. It could be that I get this feeling because I've spent a lot more time studying the Bible as compared to the Quran. How did this experience impact my Christian faith? I've been reading the Bible with a more critical eye and more carefully because I read the Quran very critically, so I thought that it would only be fair if I took the same approach to the Bible. I also wanted to be more critical because if something is true, no matter how hard it is criticized, it will be able to stand. Am I convinced by the Quran? Am I converting to Islam? Not as of yet. I do want to finish it. I'm not sure when I'll do that, but I definitely want to finish it at least once. But I'll have to say that I won't be converting anytime soon. I'm definitely open to learning more about it. I was adamant on reading the Quran by myself and not using any commentaries because I wanted to form my own thoughts about what I've read, but I got multiple comments suggesting that I should use commentaries. So if I do dive deeper into the Quran and learn more about it, I will definitely check them out. Going forward, I've been having this fire, I guess you could say, inside of me to dive deeper into my faith and really figure out whether what I believe is true. I go through seasons of doubting my faith and I no longer want to just sit back and not do anything about it. I'm not exactly sure what my next steps are. Maybe I'll check out this book called Mere Christianity by C.S. Lewis, but I do want to look into evidence for and against Jesus. One sermon that really stuck with me that shaped how I approach my doubts is this pastor that shared this with me. He said, "The foundation of Christianity is not built upon the Bible. The foundation of Christianity is built upon the birth, the death, and the resurrection of Jesus." So that's my approach and how I want to prove whether what I believe in is true. Instead of focusing on whether the facts and the details in the Bible are 100% accurate, my focus is on Jesus. As for the existence of Jesus, I think many scholars, religious or not, Christian or not, believe that Jesus existed. So the question is, did Jesus die on the cross and did he resurrect 3 days later? I'm not sure where this journey will take me, but I have a feeling that regardless of how many books or how much evidence there is, I'll probably have to take a leap of faith at some point, or maybe the evidence will be so overwhelming that I won't have to. I'm not sure. I would say that I'm a very stubborn person. I don't want to just take what I've grew up with and believe in what others told me to believe. I want to look at the evidence for myself, and so that is what I will do. I will get to the bottom of this.